You in
Getting
your early
old.
40s. You ain't old yet.
Man, you
Getting
ain't even,
old.
unless
Suck.
you get your AARP card like myself, you
You guys need to talk for yourself because I'm just Benjamin Button over here. Just
Benjamin Button. Bengina.
Benzina.
Benzina Button. Come on, YouTube, sign in. Oh, well, it says we're live now, so
It did. It just came across my phone.
gotcha. Whenever you're ready, bro.
All right. What up? What up? What up? Welcome to Good Vibes TV. That's right. Gvtv back. What, season 2, episode 45?
45.
45. Nice, wholesome number. Hey, I'm one of your hosts. My name is RL, and with me tonight, as usual, is my man DJ PRS1, the lovely Savvy E, and Dr. Alicia G. She's trying to, keep a low profile. The teachers union's on her ass. She's trying to low profile. I get it, Alicia G. I get it. I ain't mad at you. Keep them checks coming in. And tonight we have two lovely individuals. I checked out their Facebook page, and I'm gonna let Savvy go ahead and introduce them. They smiling, they looking happy, y'all. But we know all married couples, that's what they do. Good married couples always smile.
Y'all gotta excuse him, but this is how he is. So
no, it's all good. It's all good.
So I want to welcome, like a big old, great, big, happy welcome to Mr. and Mrs. We got the Lees, guys. We got the Lees in the house, Miss Kendall and Daryl. So how y'all doing today?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having us.
Thank you for joining us. So I'm telling you, but sit back and enjoy the ride because we're a piece of work on this show. We just, we just vibe. So we're just gonna vibe and
that's
we're gonna
fine. That's good. That's how we like it.
Yes. So RL, you want to tell us our topic tonight?
We'll try to behave as much as we can.
Yeah.
So the topic tonight is let me get it right. Marriage. What was it? Marriage.
No.
Is marriage
just a piece of paper?
Is marriage just a piece of paper? Oh my God. I know y'all waiting for me to put my foot in my mouth, but I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna let y'all take this. I'll come in because y'all just waiting for me to say something ignorant. I know you all.
Oh, we live for it. We
have wagers.
I bet. I'm gonna fall back though.
Why would you do that? Of days of all days, I thought this was your favorite topic.
So I mean, I checked out the video you sent me, and I checked out their Facebook page, and man, I really liked their vibe. I really like the message they were sending, and I was really I gonna say impressed because I shouldn't be impressed, but I was proud that my man right there was just he was spitting the knowledge, and it was just it was genuine. It was genuine. You can tell it wasn't something that he had to he was trying too hard.
No, that's something he lived.
Yeah, something that he walked that path. So I like I said, I'm gonna say some things. I'm gonna get in it, but I'm really glad to have these two people on here tonight because in 2021, people today, they really don't have they don't put any stock in marriage. There's no value for a lot of people. They think playing house is the thing to do, and all that stuff. So like I said, I'm a chime in, but I'm a fall back. I really me personally, being married going on 12 years, being with the same woman for 14 years, I'm really interested in what they have to say. So
I'm sure you have some insight too.
Yeah. 12 piece.
12 long years. Yeah.
Long.
Yes.
And both Ramon and I, and Alicia G, have all gone through divorces, so
we have too. We have
bad
too.
Side and the good side.
We have too. We know both sides.
Right. We got both sides of it.
This is not our first time at the rodeo.
Yep. Abby is the single married one.
Yes, I am. Yep. and loving the life of it. So don't be jealous.
The
Don't be
single
jealous.
married one.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Oh my God.
Well, I was married for 20 years, 20 something years. You
Oh
know,
wow.
Oh God, yeah.
I put in some work, but you know, things happen and time go on. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
so I'm not bitter about it or mad at anything. We are great friends, and that's the blessing in everything is that
Mhm.
we talked to each other and decided to be friends because I felt like why be upset with somebody that's been in your life for 20 something years and
Yeah.
help you
Absolutely.
and help you raise children that wasn't, biologically his. We had
Yeah.
a
Right.
child together, but my two oldest children wasn't his, and he came in and did the work and put the work in.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
sometimes people just grow up. We was in our early 20s when we got
Mhm.
married,
Mhm.
and some people just grow up and they grow and go in different ways. But we had our ups and downs. But at the end of all of it, we decided to be friends. Like we great friends. He still come past the house when he wants to, and you would think we still married, but we're not.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
But I won't let nothing happen to him. And he's a great
Mhm.
friend. So yeah,
That's good.
That's what's up.
That's how it's supposed to be.
yeah, yeah.
Man,
So
fuck that. Kick him to the curb.
kick him to the
Over.
curb.
It's
It's
over.
over. Kick him to the curb.
It's over.
It's already. You gotta love him. Mm-mm-mm. So tell us a little about yourselves.
What you want to know?
We don't be holding that. We don't
What
be
you
holding
wanna know?
that
What
back.
you
Don't
wanna
hold,
know?
look, don't hold nothing
really
back.
know.
No, don't hold nothing back. But just tell us what y'all do, right?
Yeah.
From the start. What do y'all do?
Well,
We
all
want to
our
get
Facebook-
in. We want to get into how did Daryl and Kendall, how did that union take place? Because we just learned something about you both. You're both you were both married and divorced, and here we are together with you guys. So that's always like an interesting story that I feel everyone can share, because for some people, I feel that when they go through a divorce or they go through a separation, they feel as if, that's the end all of it all. And, we, on this show, we've talked about, life after divorce and things like that. And so having a perspective from two people that went through a marriage, a divorce, and then now to have a beautiful union with each other and to be able to share that story, I think is incredible. Because truthfully, Savvy and I, all we had were the interpretations of Regan and Ramon all along. Those are the only two that's been divorced and now remarried. And we can't take their word for everything.
No.
It's funny because even being married before, I was never traumatized and said that I never wanted to get married again. Like I never even thought that. So maybe I didn't have a traumatic experience where I said I never want to do that again. So I never said that. I never said, "Ooh, I want to do it again" either. I just allow God to do whatever He does or whatever is meant. Like I never was angry or anything like that. Truthfully, I wasn't. Daryl might have a different experience, but I just never thought about it, thought about not doing it again or not, or, again, traumatized from it. But how Daryl and I met, were you traumatized? You had a different experience too.
I'm going to say that I really was not. After that, I'm not going to say I was broken, but I was cracked. Right. So, but I was at times, because you fluctuate. So I at times was like, well, I don't want to do this again, because of the things that went in that particular marriage wasn't good at the end, especially. But my faith and belief and my hope kind of brought me back over time and after some time. I think, first of all, let's go back. Time heals all wounds, right? And I had to get single before I even started to want to desire to be married again, if that makes sense. Meaning I had to get cleaned out from all the residue of the old.
Yeah.
You know,
Make perfect sense,
and all the things that came in that marriage, because we often bring a lot of baggage into the marriage, you know, when we come in together to unify anyway.
Yeah.
And because of the baggage, and then me, the way I grew up, I didn't have a father figure. I was on my own since I was 12. I mean, I was out in the street, living the street life pretty much. I was always smart. I was always an organizer. You know, I was dealing drugs and doing all the things that I was doing. I was multi-millionaire by the time I was 15. And then my mother was in my life, but then I decided to get away from that situation. I had a good, stable home. I chose the path that I went. And so because of the things that I was doing and being around the people, and I really take it all back to not having a father figure, but not having a role model, or a role model who is a proper example of what a man is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
You know, and most of the people that I grew up with that were my father figures, so to speak, were street guys, you know, drug dealers, you know, pushers, you know, those types of people like that. And they weren't bad. They just did bad things.
Right.
Yeah, if you know what I'm saying. And a lot of it they did because they had to survive. At least they thought they had to survive that way. And so I think through as I came up, you know, thinking that to have money and all these things is the right way to do it, and to have more than one woman, that makes you what a man is and all that kind of thing. I think I went into it with a better mindset than I would have had because of my faith in my mother putting me on the path of, you know, the church and so forth like that. But I still went wayward, you know, because too much of anything, you want to know about what's out there. And so coming forward, I was, you know, when I met my ex, I was ready, I thought, but I could have stayed in the kitchen and I could have stayed in the oven a little bit longer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I thought I was ready. I wanted it, but just because you want it don't mean you're prepared for it.
Absolutely.
And so with that, you know, we went through that bad breakup, and then I had to get single. I was abstinent for 4 years before I even met my now wife.
You know, excuse me, I don't mean to cut you off. I don't mean to cut you off. You said you was what for 4 years?
He was abstinent. So was I. We
abstinent without sex with a woman for 4 years.
We both were.
Were you incarcerated?
No. But see, you're pushing a stereotype that men can't go without sex. You're pushing this some type of stereotype of men are people too. Right. You know, he's a minister now, and you know, cleaning up and you know, trying to get rid of the residue. But that's a misconception that men can't go without sex, or you know, that's not true. So we like to just debunk the stereotypes. You know, to be surprised. There are a lot, and we teach about
that in a lot of classes where with a lot of young men, teenagers, who I mentor a lot of, and a lot of the guys I mentor are older than me. Yeah. Because we have the power over our own bodies as men, and I believe that we should treasure our bodies the same way we expect the women or our daughters to treasure them.
Amen.
Right?
We put the hand up on that.
So because think about it, there can't be no pregnancy if our boys aren't running loose, right? So if we start to groom our boys in the right way and help them treasure their bodies and help them to honor themselves and not just stick themselves anywhere, because everywhere you stick isn't good, right? All that glitters isn't gold. So I had to go on that journey to get cleaned out to I guess say to reinvent or to be reborn again. Yeah. And so because of that helped me when I did go into that marriage. And it's definitely helping me as I'm in my marriage now, because I'm much more prepared. I'm much more knowledgeable. I'm much more wise. And she even was doing it unbeknownst to me or you at the time. She also was practicing celibacy too, or her own. So when we got together, we were cleaned out for the most part, but doesn't say that you still don't have some stuff in there that you need to unpack with one another.
And to answer your question, Dr. Alicia, because it depends. When you asked a question about were we afraid or apprehensive, to get married again, because sometimes when folks divorce, you know, they don't want to get married again.
True.
And it depends. Like, he didn't have a good divorce per se. You know, I did. So that can also, depending on, like, if you're still, you know, maybe cool with the person, or you still just agree as adults to just, you know, go separately, or, you know, so that really has a big thing to do with whether you want to get married or not. Like, I've never rushed to get married, you know, it was never like oh, I dream of being married, you know, like Savvy. I got married at 20 years old, you know, and had my first child at 22. So I was already, like, I never, like, that wasn't like a wish or a desire when I was a little girl to get married. Like, I never even, you know, fantasized about that as I look back at my life. So when you think about, you know, marriage and just how everything flows and goes, you just kind of roll with it. And because every individual, it is different. And how he and I met, you want to this is like, okay, do y'all have the time?
Sure.
No, but
I love stories.
So how, okay. So this is how we met. So you can take it to the first part, because the first part really was on you.
So I was working at a place that I had a contract to do some teaching or instructional work. And one day I came in, which is out of my character to do. I came into my office, and there is a coworker or a cubicle next door with a young lady in the office.
Yeah,
the office, right?
She was contracted.
Yeah, she was contracted too. And I had a real strong emotion, unction to go next door and ask her, did she know anybody that she thought that I would, you know, be good with or be good for? And I didn't know her, right? But the power that came over me was so strong to do it. I went next door, being obedient, just went next door. I said, hey, you know, listen, I'm looking at trying to date somebody. It was as if she already had the person ready and pulled up and prepared when I went. She immediately went on her laptop. She hit some things. She said, yep, I got the right person. Hit some things, turned around, and there I saw her face. I only saw her from the face up. I didn't want to see I didn't want to see her body. I didn't want to see any of that. I'm a face man too. So I wanted to see her face, right? Right? And I didn't want to know anything about her. Right? I didn't want to know anything about it. And she, I guess she contacted Kendall. And you want to take it from there?
So he didn't know who I was and, you know, the things that I do and what I did for a living. He didn't know any of that. So this person pulls up. I still don't know what he saw exactly. If she pulled up my website, if she pulled social, I still don't even know. The reason why I don't know is because I really don't know the lady. Now, I've had her on my podcast before. I met her virtually, not even seeing her face virtually. I met her via the phone. I've never seen her other than her profile on Facebook. I don't even know if I saw an IG page, but I didn't know her like that. We had just done business as far as I was putting together a speaker's tour. And she was going to be one of the speakers. And then she was on my podcast. Still have not met her. Still to this day. To this day, I've never seen this lady in person. So she pulls up me, and she sends me a message, and she sends a picture of him. And I was like, he looks like a baby. I said, whose child is that? I was like, I'm not interested in him. He's not my type. And she was, so then for some reason I just, and she was like, well, you know, talk to him. So I talked to him on the phone. I remember he was about to go teach a class, and he said, I'll call you back at 4:00. So he called back at 4:00, and we just talked and we talked hours. So that night, no FaceTime, none of that. We just talked.
I want to hear what's inside. I don't want to, you know what I mean?
So the first day that we talked, y'all, I had a date. Like it was a Friday, and I had a date set up. I was like, I don't know him. I'm not going to cancel my date. So I was talking to him. It was at 4:00. So I remember talking to him as I was leaving work.
Preparing for my date. Then I got home. I was still talking to him. I can't remember if I went home to change or if I went straight. I think I went home to change and went to the date. Still was talking to him. On the phone with me the whole time to the date.
Driving to the date, I was still on the phone with him to the point where I got to the maitre d's, the front desk. And I was like, okay, he's there. I'll call you back. So then I called and I proceeded to have my date with this guy. You know, I had it scheduled probably for 2 weeks. I met him online and we were just talking. And, you know, he was a nice guy.
Quick date.
And then the date, you know, after we ate, it was pretty much, that was it. So I get ready to get to the door and I go to the door and I call Daryl back. But the funny thing is, because I was talking to him that whole time in the car, I had no idea where I parked. So I didn't know where I parked because I was engulfed in the conversation. So then 2 days after.
Then she ghosted me.
Well, you're skipping.
I'm gonna skip because we got time. We got.
You skip.
She ghosted me for 3 days.
Well, you gotta explain. So we were talking for hours on the phone, all day, all night. You know, the old school kind of love. That's how you do.
Fall
You talk
asleep on the phone, all that.
So we're talking, and then I finally meet him 2 days later. So I think I know I had a date, so it wasn't a private. Yeah, it was 2 days later. I ended up meeting Daryl and was not feeling him. He was not my type. He was not my speed. I was in the car and I went to go meet him. We set a date up and I saw him walking across the street and I was like, oh no, that ain't him. I hope that ain't him. I hope that ain't him. So I call on the phone and this guy walking across the street answers the phone. I'm like, that is him. he had on these gold pants. He had on this bright blue shirt. He had on these bright blue sneakers. He had a cross around his neck that was swinging left to right. And I was like, oh hell no. I was like, that? No.
I was electric.
He was doing the most in all areas. And that's when his hair was up high too. And no, it wasn't the 90s, but his hair was still up high. And it was, and I was like, no. But then I'm a nice person, so I was like, I'm not going to just ghost him now. I'll ghost him later, but not now. So he walks across the street, and I'm like, and he said, Kendall, and I'm like, yeah, Daryl. So we're going in, and I'm kind of like, I don't even want to go in with this brother. Like, I don't even want to go in the restaurant. But I said, I'm gonna eat this macaroni and cheese, and then I'm gonna roll out. I'm gonna leave. So we're sitting at the table, y'all, and he's sitting at the table with sunglasses on the whole time. So I'm looking at him like,
wow.
So I low key, ladies, you guys know how to do it when you take the picture where they don't see. I was like, nobody is going to believe.
She's a professional with that.
I said, nobody is going to believe me with this brother right here. And I snapped the picture. And I remember I was driving home from the date and I called the girl and I was like, what were you thinking? I was like, he is not my speed. He's not my style. No, that's not my type, right? And she was like, I'm sorry, and all of that. So then after that, we had gone, 2 days talking all day long, 8 hours, 6 hours, all of that.
And then ghost.
And then after that date, did not call him, did not anything. I went ghost for like 3 days. I was like, because I don't want to hurt his feelings, but no, he's not the one.
So I called. So after that, I'm calling. I'm talking to my boy. Like, man, I really met this woman, man, and like this really gonna be my wife. And he was like, man, you sure? And I was like, yo, I am 100% sure this is my wife. And so she would ghost me. Like she, MIA, right? Gone, right? I'm like, hold on.
He said I went radio silent.
Yeah, she was radio silent, right? So I'm like, wait a minute. So I immediately started, I said, I'm going to fast and pray for the amount of time she stays away.
Oh, wow.
And I literally fast and pray for 2-3 days. I think it was 2 or 3 days. 3 days. So for 2 or 3 days, I prayed.
And I didn't know this. I had no clue. I was just living my best life.
Yeah. I fasted. And I told her, I said, when I did she said, when I told her she's going to be my wife, she said, well, God ain't tell me that, right? Next thing you know, like suddenly.
No, he called, no. So he calls me after 3 days, like, hey, you know, what's going on? We went from talking all of those hours, and then after the date, I didn't really talk to you. You know, what's going on? And I was like, oh, nothing. You know, I just been busy, nothing, because I don't want to hurt his feelings. No, I'm a
straight talk, straight understanding.
So I was like, oh no, you know, nothing. I just been busy. I'm sorry. And he was like, no, like, what is the deal for real? Like, what's the deal for real? And I'm still like, no. And then I was like, okay. Because I'm a very honest person, like extremely
Direct,
honest
right.
and very direct, but I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But, you know, so when he asked, when he, you know, kept saying, well, what? So then I was like, listen, you're not my, you know, you're not my type. You're not my speed. You know, I'm not really, you know, no, you know, and I'm just, and he's like, well, what do you mean? We were talking, we were vibing, you know, all of these hours. And then when we go on the date, then you're just going. I was like, cause you're not really, you know, my type. And he was like, well, that may be a little shallow. And I was like, yeah, it is a little shallow. Like it wasn't, because it wasn't like, I'm not attracted to him. He was just doing the most in every area.
I was just radioactive. I was radioactive. That's all.
And I was like, it was just too much noise. It was too loud for me.
It was too loud.
It was too loud. Because that, you know, I'm like you go on a date, you can already go on a date and you look like somebody just came out of a Mace and P.
She always said, I'm
like,
with the shiny
in the world.
I'm like, what is going on? He looked like he just take that. Like he just came from a video. I'm like, no.
You're not doing that.
But then he says, when he says it's shallow, you know, and I'm like, well, I can see that. I guess that is, you know, because we were talking, we were vibing on the phone. So I had him, I think after that, I was like, well, you never know. When he said, God said that you're my wife, and when I said no, we didn't have that conversation. God didn't tell me that. I was like, well, maybe God had him here, maybe because he is a nice guy. I was vibing with him. He can be on my podcast. We were, you know, talking about different things, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have him on. And then we just kind of clicked, and we were, you know, talking on the podcast. And I don't know what subject we were talking about.
Prayer, the power of prayer.
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember. But then I said, okay. And then we had slowly, after that point, we kind of talked. And all of this is not like months, you know, past. This is like quick. So he was saying again that God told him, and I was like, God didn't tell me, but something which we definitely believe is God, it clicked. And then all of a sudden I didn't feel like that anymore, you know, and it just, I ended up liking him, and we got married in 4 months.
Oh, wow.
Which is great. I still don't understand that part. I'm still trying to figure out what kind of wine or Kool-Aid I drank. I'm still trying to figure it out. The real Kendall would not have done that. So I'm still trying to figure out what happened. Like what kind of smelling salt did I smell? Like, so I know it was definitely God for sure, because the way that I changed from night to day instantly. Yeah, it was instant. So that's the long story.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What an amazing
That was a
story.
great story, right.
Oh my, I did not see that. That was like a twist.
Right.
That was a twist of a story.
Right.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
you think, okay, I'm gonna hear this, and then I hear the ladies like setting them up. I was like, oh, okay, blind date. But then it's like, she ghosted you.
Ghosted.
Right.
Heavy on the ghost. Yeah. Yeah.
And I still never met the lady. I still haven't met the lady. Don't even talk to the lady.
Wow.
I know we had talked. I'm not sure. Just wait a minute. So something happened.
And do you still have the gold pens, or is that
okay? I didn't know what happened. What did you say that he had to go? Does he still have to go pens?
No, I still got them.
He'd gone to Philadelphia like 2 weeks ago, right? He came back 2 weeks ago. He came back with those pants and came to the door, and I instantly got an attitude. I really got an attitude. I was like, now is not the time, because I think we were going through something, or we had an argument or something.
So you know how women got their
you came in the door with the pants on. I had an attitude.
I'm like, look, we going through something. I'm putting my pants back on.
I had an attitude.
You know how women got the freaking.
And I still can't find that shirt, so I think she did something with that shirt.
No, I didn't do that shirt. The shirt, okay, if the shirt was separate, everything can be loud. You can't have the loud hair, the loud shirt, the necklace, the pants, and the shoes. Like something got to be quiet, right? And everything was just too much. Because, you know, although I do so many different things on different platforms and, you know, I do public speaking and I speak and I'm still kind of low key, right? I'm not a loud, you know, type of person. I'm that type that can be in the back in the cut and you won't even know that I'm in there unless it's time for me to get on the stage to speak. I'm not. So then him, but then he was just all the way live, you know? So when he goes back to where he's from Philly, everybody like knows him. Like, hey, how you doing? Old, young, men, women. So it's like, hey, how you doing? And I'm just kind of a little different. So, but what was happening though in the restaurant when we went out, like remember the waitress?
Oh yeah.
Like I was like, maybe she knew I wasn't feeling him. I said, now it's disrespectful. I would probably have to have a conversation with her. But she was flirting with him the entire time. The entire time.
She liked the gold pants. The gold pants.
But he has that. Like people say, I have it. He has it. Like where you meet people and you instantly feel like you're connected, or you know the person. That the aura, the anointing is something. And she was just like drawn, like a fly to fly paper. And I was like, and we talked about that and laughed. I was like, is she flirting with you? Like this older lady was here for all
like
of it.
Daryl has that contagious personality.
She was here for all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us how the topic.
And wait a minute, talking about. Wait a minute, Ramon has something to say. He got something.
What do you have to say?
I'm taking it all in.
He's taking it in.
Right now.
He's taking notes. He's taking notes.
I'm not mad at my brother. My brother got game. He got the loud. I'm from Baltimore. We from Baltimore, right? My wife from DC. I'm all about the loud colors. You know, the gold paint. I'm all for it. I thought, hey, you got yourself a good one right there. That man is loud for you. That's his love.
Right. Oh Lord.
Bring the sunshine.
So tell us about the let's talk about the topic tonight. Like, how did y'all come up with that video that I said? Like, who was the person that proposed that phrase to you that you wanted to talk about it, that you wanted to go live and share with IG?
Yeah, I actually was just scrolling through IG and I saw somebody make the comment that marriage is only a piece of paper, and that kind of set me back a little bit.
And we had the conversation in the car.
And we had a conversation in the car, and
I was like, "We need to take this."
My wife was like, "You need to get on there. You need to get on, IG. You need to get on there." Because I used to be on Facebook. I mean, some time ago, but I got off during my abstinence period. And she's like, you need to get on there, start getting on there, and start, spreading your message and helping people and inspiring people and fathering people and whatever. And I got on.
Because we used to do with things, as you saw our Facebook page, and we kind of went silent for a minute, and we were doing other things, and we would do it often. Yeah. We would do it often, and then we just got back into really doing it, because we were still doing it, but we were doing it like in classrooms and workshops and all of that. And we were having couples, because I do life coaching, I do couples coaching and individuals and groups and all of that. So we were doing it in that arena, but I was still doing it. As Savvy knows, I'm very heavy on social media, but Daryl, when he took a break, when you took a break, he kind of took a break from everything. Right. So he's just getting back on. But you can finish.
Yeah. So I saw that, and we as leaders or student leaders or servant leaders, sometimes we have to become the subject and the topic in order to actually teach.
Right.
In order, there's no test without a testimony. So a lot of the time you'll find yourself, what we might think is being embarrassed, or we might think is being put out on stage. Sometime God wants us to be on stage so he can demonstrate and teach through our pain or through our issues or challenges or joy or whatever it may be. Yeah. A lot of times the pain of situations and circumstances, and as I was thinking about what she said, I was thinking about possibly what her process was to get there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That comment. When I saw that comment, and I just had to chime in on that comment and kind of just make a couple of express myself on it and what it is and what it really means, and so it wouldn't be taken lightly. Yeah. Because when you think about it, would you buy or build a house without counting up all the costs? You know, you got to count everything. You can't shortcut. You know, the process. You can't shortcut the ladder. People want to step. You know, if it's 12 steps, they want to skip from the first to the from 4 A to Z. You know, and a lot of times it's the process where we have to really get the lessons so that we can fully become the gold or the pure gold that we need to become. It's the heat, it's the applied heat that makes the diamond come to its purity. Yeah. Right. So absolutely. It's the pressures and the issues of life, and whether you had a father, whether you had a mother, 2 fathers, all these things, whether you know, whether you were in the street, not in the street, whether from the, you know, I always like to say that I'm from the street to the boardroom, or I'm from the hood to Hollywood. You know what I mean? And everything in between. You got to be able to eat oodles and noodles, and you got to be able to have the T-bone steak, if that makes sense. So when I saw that comment, I just wanted to chime in, and I had a conversation with my wife about it. I was like, hey, this young lady said this, you know, and it affected me because I have a daughter, and I want her to have the proper view or the proper understanding, not the misunderstanding, not the social media understanding. I want her to have the biblical principle understanding of what marriage is supposed to be or should look like. You know, it's not something that you want to rush into. It's something that you want to be patient about.
How are you going to say that after we got married? I know,
well, that's a different, every situation is not our situation. Just like our fingerprint is different, right? Somebody else's fingerprint is different. So, you know, but in the long run about it, I wanted people to have a sense of understanding about it, that it's not something to just to rush into because your heart is fluttering, you've been having sex. Yeah. And see, and Daryl and I didn't, you know, because when people think about marriage as a piece of paper and they say marriage is just a piece of paper, sometimes people say that because they're hurt. Maybe they haven't been proposed to. Maybe the marriage didn't work. Maybe the person that they were married to didn't act as a spouse or the way that they thought that they maybe should have act, or their ideal, you know, idealism of what marriage is based off of a television show or someone's Instagram post. So when it doesn't act exactly how it's supposed to act, or it doesn't play out how they have it in their mind, like it's perfect, he's, you know, bringing, you know, flowers every day, he's doing this every day, she's doing this, she has an apron on, and she's whatever your ideology is as far as marriage. So when sometimes it doesn't happen that way, they say it's a piece of paper. Or if they waited 10 years to get married, or 5 years to get married, or 20 years to get married, and now it's just a piece of paper, it doesn't change. But I will say that it is just a piece of paper, but it's what you do with that paper and what you do with, how do you view marriage? Do you view marriage the same? Do you have the same common goal? Because just like you start a business, you have to have a mission statement. With a marriage, you have to have a mission statement. You have to feel out what you want to do and what you can bring to do together to better whatever, whether it's the world, whether it's your neighbor, whether it's your organization. What is it? What common goal? What is your purpose? What is the mission statement of your marriage? And I believe everyone should have a mission statement. And that's why sometimes when you look at social media, and it just really disheartens me because people only put out the goodness on social media. So if someone is home in their relationship, in their marriage, and they're not seeing that, whatever they're looking at, then they think, okay, well, I don't have a good marriage, or I don't. So I always say we talk about relationships, like it's real. Well, you know, we're not afraid to talk about anything. We're not perfect. You know, we go through it still every day. So it's about doing that. And it's not about what you go through. It's how you recover and how you communicate to go to whatever, through it to the next level. So marriage being a piece of paper, I think that comes from a painful place, or the ideology of that, whatever they had
didn't pan out the way they thought it would be. Yeah.
So, Dean, do we have anybody that saying anything on our page?
Yeah, well, everybody's pretty much on the page enjoying the conversation. They're like, I got Mike McCoy on here. Shout out to Mike. He says, I have to get me some of them gold pants for sure. I got
and that's what one of my friends said. They was like, you didn't dislike them that much.
Right. But make sure I kept them gold pants though. She can't find them gold pants.
I got a couple people on here, and everybody's on, but they're just listening and and I guess enjoying what you're saying. So shout out to all the people out there that's listening and watching, and thank you for watching us. And I hope you all enjoying what we're talking about. And if you have anything you want to put out about your ideas of marriage, if you have any questions for the Lees, please add it in there, and I'll make sure and read it out to them and ask the question. So
absolutely, I want people to really understand that marriage, it has its definition, right? It has its definition, legally, and if you believe in God spiritually, but also the two people in the marriage create their own definition. And you have to make sure you're on accord with that, on one accord, because sometimes his definition might be different from mine, and then that's a conversation, and then it will switch. It may switch. Someone might be, and all of that stuff. Okay, I'm 50 and you're 50. Let's make 100. Right. That's garbage, because you have to be a whole person. You have to be 100, and nobody out there should complete you. Right. Like that's hogwash. Nobody should complete you. You can't have a half a person broken and you haven't done your own self-work. It's critical that you do your own self-work. And I will tell anybody, and I talked to you about this. The biggest gem I will give anybody, not just as a life coach, but just as a woman, as a person. Do not go into a relationship with anybody that's not working on themselves, whether they're healing themselves with coaching, counseling, therapy, prayer, meditation, some things. You can't be with someone who is not willing to do the work, because then if you have it uneven and I'm doing the work and he's not, or he's doing the work and I'm not, then it's going to be imbalanced. And then how are you going to be able to go when I think I need all the work and I'm gonna do all the work and you say you don't need it, or I say I don't need it and you do? That's not going to work, because everybody has past traumas, everyone has a history, everyone has baggage. And it doesn't mean marriage baggage or divorce baggage. It could be childhood baggage where your development was arrested at 13. So now you're acting this way and you don't know why. That's because you didn't handle that. So it's so important to do that before you enter a relationship. And you don't want to just have any relationship. You want to have a healthy relationship or work towards having the healthiest relationship possible.
And I would add to that and say too, for the people who are in a hurry to get married, you have a lot of women that I want to be married, or maybe even some men, I want to be married, I'm going to be married. You have to, first of all, you have to be patient, first of all. That's one. You should never be anxious for anything so much that you don't look at the signs or the flags, or are you prepared to be a wife or a husband? Right. You have to walk that out first. For men, you can't be sticking your everywhere and think you're going to be a husband in a piece of paper is going to all of a sudden change your practicing behavior. If you have to practice, you have to study the thing you want to become.
Wow.
So you can't just, I'm dating her. And if you're a person that's in these relationships where when we broke up next week, we together, we broke up, we together. Now you go see somebody, you sleep around, you doing this, you're not ready. Right. You're not ready. Because if you're in a relationship where there's a one-on-one or your fiance or your what have you, you got to work the issues out. You can't be a runner. You can't be somebody that say, well, I'm done with this. I'm just going to, and you can't have a bunch of safety nets.
Wow. Like that.
Because we like to have, we as men, when we're uncertain, we like to have a safety net. And a lot of women nowadays have got the power now, seemingly, right? Where they are doing what we used to do to women. Women are doing more now.
Yeah,
well, they
got
this guy, they got that guy, they got the guy for the money.
Second to figure out what he meant by safety net. I was like, safety net. Oh.
Right. They got the guy for the money, right? They got the guy to fix the house up. They got the guy that looks good. They got the guy that goes out and partying and all of that. So what you're doing is
the guy that has sex with.
Right, and the guy that has good sex with.
And then you got a guy in the gold pants.
The guy that has good sex might not be the guy with
the cash, right?
So, or the guy that can't hang a picture or fix a roof might be the one, that's still so.
So you're trying to consolidate all of these individuals to be one person.
Right.
But you have to, as men and as women, we have to walk as if we are wives and husbands before we actually become one.
Yeah.
Right.
You gotta walk that out, and that may be lonely. There's gonna be some lonely times. I'm gonna tell you straight from the cuff. For a person that was partying, hanging, traveling, flying here, flying there, rolling, had the cash, expendable money. Hey, if you ain't never had your rent paid, I'm gonna pay it type of thing. If you were living that life, so I had to rinse myself out from all of that life, because biblically, if every person you sleep with, biblically it says you marry.
Let's talk about that.
Every person you sleep with, you marry because of the way that your anatomy is and her anatomy is. You marry. So then you got to think, well, how long I've been with this person? What came with this person? What did we do? How long we were together? Were they sleeping with other people? Now we talking spirits. We talking a lot of issues that come with people. Now you end up, because you've been sleeping with so many people, you're wondering why I got anxiety that I never had before. Or I'm drinking.
That's right.
I've never drank that much before, and that wasn't a thing. Or why I'm angry now, and I never was angry before in relationships. That's because you haven't gotten divorced before you start wanting to be married.
And you don't have to be married to get divorced. You divorce yourself from things and people.
Yeah.
So that's something that we would like to. We want people to understand. For me, I treat my son like most men treat their daughters. Because what's happening is the men carry the seed of life.
Go ahead.
Right? And if we carry the seed of life, that seed is a precious seed, and we can't spill it all over the place. There is an ordained person for everyone, and there are some people who are meant to be single, right? But there are people that you are supposed to be waiting on or looking for, or who are looking for you. But if you messing with everything that's wrong for you, when the right one comes, how are you going to be able to notice if you got so much residue going on? How are you going to notice when the right guy comes? And he may not always be in, quote, the financial position, ladies, that you would want him to be in yet, keyword, yet. He still may be becoming. He may not be prepared totally, but he may be becoming. Nowadays, women just like, well, I want the money. Money don't make you happy. I'm going to tell you from the gate. Money does not satisfy you. Everybody's striving for it, but it does not complete you as a person, because you can lose it. And what will happen to the one that you with if that's the way you started? You need somebody that's in the valley with you. If they can be in the valley and endure the valley times with you, they deserve to be on the mountain.
Go ahead.
That means I deserve to be on the mountaintop, because, honey, we done been through the valley, okay?
That's right. You went through them gold pants and everything. I think Sally made her pillow out of those gold pants.
First of all, y'all got to excuse me for cracking up in the middle of the whole thing. I'm listening, and I'm looking, and I look down at Ramon, and Ramon is in a red shirt, and there's two black things on the top of his head that look like horns. I swear, we're talking. I'm like, is that the devil on the bottom?
Oh, boy.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I mean,
what Daryl is saying is so
profound,
and it's so important, because I think with a lot of young people and even a lot of people who have been through divorces and broken relationships, And a lot of people, I know a lot of them, I've seen them, they go from one to the next, and it's like, you need to, as you said, you need to heal yourself, but you need to be comfortable in your life. And when that person comes along, your life is then ready to accept that. Because I feel as if people are always on the hunt, on the prowl, like, who's out there? Where are we going? Let's swipe left, right. I don't even know what there's, if it's left or right. But anyways, I've seen this because I've had friends that's done these things, and I'm not criticizing anyone in that way, but I feel it is exactly what you're saying. It's so important for, the single people out there. If that's what you're looking for, and you're looking for a husband, you're looking for a wife, you need to make sure that you are ready to receive that when that comes knocking on your door, whenever that may be. And whatever if you're looking for someone who is financially set, then be financially set yourself. Don't sit there and go, well, I'm about to wait for somebody to be financially set to get me out of debt. No, because that's not how it's going to work. And it has to balance.
I did a post about that. No, absolutely not. Yeah. I know, because the comedian B. Simone got slapped for saying, she made a comment, and I went behind the comment. I was like, this is the stuff that I talk about all the time. She said something like, if you are looking for a man with good credit, make sure you have good credit. If you're looking for, and I totally believe that. And I stand on that platform. You can't ask someone for something that you don't have yourself, because like you said, you want to be on the come up, because you want your bills paid, or you don't have to worry about it. So if that's what are you looking for exactly, and then you have to figure out why you're looking for it and why you're not finding that in yourself. I talked to a woman today, and I wish I could say that I'm telling a story, a lie. She's changing her religion because she wants to get married. You heard the conversation. He heard the conversation
many times.
She's changing, like, and I'm not joking. I'm not saying that, you're gonna make me change my religion. She literally said, even though, because she's tried different religions in the past, and the last religion she had was no religion. She was saying that she was atheist. Now she's changing it and saying, because I want a husband. And I said, listen, you have to make sure that's something you want. You can't just run behind a religion just to jump on board, and you don't believe it because last week you were an atheist. Now, I don't want you to be an atheist, but you have to decide what religion is for you and not. And she literally said out of her mouth, I am joining this religion because I want to find a husband. I want to get married. So there's something bigger.
Is there a religion giving out
a lot of women out, huh?
Is there a religion giving out husbands?
Some religions are, but some religions are because they want, marriage is the thing, and not fornicating and doing that. But that's funny because everyone's gonna be like, sign me up if I want to be married, right. and that's someone's personal choice and decision. But you have to ask yourself, okay, well, why do I want a husband so bad? Like, why was I atheist in the first place? So let me see what this religion can offer me and do. Now, this might be a great thing. She's not an atheist anymore. This might be a great thing. Religion might work for her. So this might be a catalyst for her to get there. And I'm all for that. But don't just enter it just because you want a husband. You have to find out why. What is it? What are you missing on the inside that you feel that a husband can try to complete that? Because if you're trying to fill a void, that husband is never going to pour enough into you to fill that void.
And that's too much pressure.
Right. And that's, so you got to really figure it out, but you have to make sure you're healed and clean first. That's why I said what I said earlier. You have to make sure, like, these are questions that you have to ask, especially grown people dating. You have to talk about credit. People can swap spit, but they don't want to swap information. Right. Like they're scared to ask. They're not, you know what I'm saying? They're not scared to get into bed with someone they just met, right? But they're scared to ask someone what their credit score is. Have you been to counseling or therapy? Right. Oh, that's too much to ask. I'm like, why not? Like getting naked with somebody and kissing somebody that you just met is not a problem. It's not a problem, but you can't speak the words. And I'm talking about grown people, folks, Exactly. So you got to really have those kind of conversations like, hey, and then you have to listen to people's speak and their verbiage. You have to listen. If you're talking about your last relationship and it's always that person did this, that person did that, that person is that, you have to look. That is a flag. Because if that person can acknowledge what they did in the relationship, or to say, you know what, it was a mutual decision, both of us, if that person is blaming that man or that woman, then that's a red flag. And most people ignore red flags because they want to be married. And it's like you have to look for the subtleties and you have to listen to when people speak. So if you sit quiet long enough, they'll tell you everything you need to know.
Absolutely. I believe that.
Yep.
I got to jump in. I'm loving this. I can honestly say every relationship that ended, it wasn't my fault. I feel confident in that. I'm really proud of that young lady who's changing gods for some dick. I'm proud of her.
Some in-house. Don't forget add in-house in the first beginning.
I'm proud of those individuals out there that's willing to do that. And I'm gonna tell you, I've heard that with some people, if you sleep with them, it actually improves your credit score, depending on who that person is. So there's nothing wrong with that. You can get some dick and you can get 10 points on your credit score within 45 minutes. I think
that's why he wear the red with the horns on the top. See?
Right.
So like Dr. Alicia said, there's a place giving out husbands, but you can go a step further and you can fix your credit at the same time.
Yep.
That sounds like a win. I hope she doesn't hear this podcast because she's gonna be like, I'm doing the right thing.
That's go get that dick, girl.
Yes.
I got affirmation from Gvtv.
Right.
I have a serious question, though. Y'all got married really fast, and me personally, I don't see anything wrong with that because of the story you told, and I mean, it's an incredible story. Did y'all wait to have sex?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Y'all got married in 4 months.
You wasn't trying to take them gold pants off?
That's incredible.
Yeah, we did.
Because, and it's also too, and we talked about that too, it's the conviction, but it's also like if you are celibate, I was too, I hadn't had sex. And it's so funny when because I was engaged before him for 5 years. And he was trying to get me to the altar, and I didn't go to the altar in 5 years, but I went in 4 months.
Oh, he's mad as hell.
He was, and I don't blame him. But you know what? I don't blame him because everybody deserves to have that person that feels that way about them, right? Yeah. And because I'm me, I wanted to make sure, I wanted to, but it was something stopping me from doing that. But then I meet Daryl, and then it's in 4 months, and that happens all the time. Sometimes it happens in reverse. Like a woman is with a man, and she wants to get married, like the other way around, like he was pushing me. But typically, it's the woman pushing the man, and they're like, "No, I don't want to get married." Then they meet a woman and get married like this, and that woman is like, "I cooked, I cleaned, I did this for 10 years, and now you're going to marry her." So I get that, so I do. And it's just, that's why I said it was all God. Like it really, really was, because in my natural real life, I wouldn't have done it.
You said one next to
I
it.
just
In
wouldn't
your
have.
right state of mind.
Right. I wouldn't have, because everything was telling me no, but God was saying yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Like the other thing was saying is that's why I knew it was a purpose for us. I knew that it was our missions were the same, even though we're very different. Our missions are very similar, and you have to be with somebody who helps you be a better person. Even certain things. Even with Daryl, he told some of his story in the beginning, and I was like, I want to talk about the counseling piece, the therapy piece, because I was like, he's never had therapy or counseling, but that's a question that I would have asked, and I didn't. But that's something that I would have asked, and that's why I encourage people to do it, because he was raising himself at 12 and 15 and seeing things where I was home, watching a different world back in the day, because I'm a little older, or shows, and I'll ask him with some of the shows, hey, did you see this show, or do you remember that? Like, he don't know nothing. Why? Because as a kid, he was on the street. You get what I'm saying? He was having, how do you have your own apartment at 15? You get what I'm saying? So he had a different upbringing than I did. So there's a lot of things that he's seen as a child that he should not have seen, and the things that he's been through, but he's never gone to therapy or counseling that he put himself through. So as I began to, talk to him about that, I was like, I think you do, not because nothing is wrong with you. It's because you want to make sure you check those things for yourself, not for me, but for yourself. Yeah. But you said that
she helped me understand, because we as Black men, we just barrel through things. You know what I mean? We I'm the type of person, I put the armor on, and she always tells me, like, you could be really cold, at times, and that's just my armor. That's my mechanism that I've chosen to not feel, so that I can barrel through and get whatever it is whatever my goals are done. Because of the way that I chose and the way that I came up, the things that I've seen, you have to, love was not an option. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Love will get you killed. You know what I mean? And because of that, I still can easily turn on and turn off that side of me, though I am that. I didn't cry. I'm gonna say this. I didn't cry for the first time until I was 30. Ever.
That's crazy.
Was it over a woman?
No, it was over the loss of a friend of mine.
Gold pants wasn't on sale.
Yeah, who was killed. So
okay,
and then.
But the thing is, you can also, but to know him is to love him, and you can tell. And well, I already know, and people know that if you're around him for 2 seconds, but that's not his innate way of being. He's very, and he, like, if you see him, you would never know. If he wasn't telling you this right now, you would never, ever know. You would never, see that, because that's not innately him. But he learned that trait because he had to. Yeah. And so, for survival.
And so it's important for men. That's why you hear me talk about men a lot, because I'm real passionate about men. And young women and men, single parent men who are fathers.
Because he was a single parent. Right? His son, let's talk about that real quick. If he raised his son autistic, his son is autistic, his son is almost 25. The mother walked away when he was 1 year old. So he raised his son by himself as a single father through all of that. Just the mother left. And her two daughters that she had that before
was
him.
At the time, 2 and 3 maybe.
Before him. Yeah. She left. She was about that life out there.
About them streets.
She got caught up.
She was in them streets.
She got caught up.
Yeah.
She got caught up.
And he, he did that, on his own. So when you think about different things like that, it's a lot of different things that have happened that, like, you need to just release. Yeah.
She helped me, and my wife helped me to see, as I was saying, you're Black men, you just barrel through. You don't have a father, you just do what you got to do. You grow up fast, you grow up quick, And the one thing I will say, every man needs to be subservient to another man.
Talk about that.
Every man. if any women out there get with a man who is not subservient or respectful or doesn't have a mentor or some kind of father figure, run. Because that says in a lot of cases, I can't submit to another authority where I can find myself underneath that individual so that I can be poured into because of what I didn't get from whomever I didn't get it from at that time. So it's important to, as my wife was helping me understand, I was cracked, not broken, because I don't consider myself broken because I'm a survivor and a thriver, but I have been cracked. And you can't just barrel through things. I think was in 2018, I went to the doctor, and I've never had any broken bones. I had never had anything, no stress, no nothing. So I thought. And I went to the hospital, and they ran some tests and was like, man, what's going on with you? And are you under any different pressures than you have been before? And I said, well, yeah, it's a little bit more. But it wasn't just about what was happening then. It was about the multiplication of the things that had happened throughout my whole life leading me up to that point. Because holding stuff in and just swallowing and pushing things down, it's almost like a soda. If you shake the soda and you take the top off, eventually you can't control how and where it spews out to, and what I'm saying? So you need to get in a place, a posture. And she helped me see and helped me understand and helped me know therapy, being therapeutic, getting around some strong men, getting around some men where iron can sharpen iron. And not only men, but listening to some mother type figures who I have in my life, who can speak into my life in certain areas. And I can trust that what they say is actual and factual. And they're not doing it to try to harm me, but to make me better.
Yeah, and then you talk about marriage and you talk about making sure, like, of course, my husband has had good women in his life, even in the past in relationships, but he also has had some treachery with women, trying to play him and or use him or all of
it creates
so
trust
that
issues.
Right.
That creates trust issues.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you have trust issues with the one who you're supposed to love or you're in love with, and here's a lesson real quick.
Yeah.
Be careful of who you say is your friend. Don't be
come
quick
on with that.
to give people the title or the privilege of saying they're your friends if they have not gone through the test of time, the test of loyalty before you assign that title to them. Everybody doesn't deserve to be in the front row. Some people need to be in the balcony.
Some people don't even need to be in the building.
Right. Or in
Some
the
people don't even need to be in the building. Keep the door locked.
Right.
They don't even need to come in.
If you get two or three good friends, loyal people, and I'm real loyal. I'm loyal probably to a fault. If you get,
but everybody is not loyal to him, and I've seen it with my own eyes. Everybody is not loyal to him, and we have this battle with this one guy that's his friend, and I'm like, he's not your friend.
But
so you have everybody is not as loyal as you, so you really have to make sure that whoever you have in your life or use wisdom for that. Yeah.
But I just want to say, you guys has been such an inspiration on the show. Unfortunately, we kind of out of time, so I want to say, and I'm sure everybody else here would agree with me, that we're going to probably have to do a series on this. This will probably be like part 1. So, we're inviting you guys again next week, and we'll continue the conversation. And because I know right now,
are we talking too much?
No. This is good stuff.
I'm taking it in.
Right. And I want to say that, everybody right now on the live that's like enjoying it. Everybody is like, both are inspirational. Speak, say it louder, say it for the person in the back to hear. I'm reading all these comments, and it's like, you guys are really good. And I want to say, we need to do it in a 2-part series or maybe 3-part. It depends. We'll just go till we exhaust it. But you guys are welcome to be back next week, Tuesday, and we can go some more. Unfortunately, we're kind of out of time. tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the Lees. and they have so much to say. They even made me pull out my shirt today. My wife rocks.
Jeez, look at this right here.
Right.
Look at this, man.
So I guess we could kind of wrap it up. Savvy, what you got going on?
Well, like always, I have a fashion show coming up July the 10th, guys. So I will get more information on that. As I said, that Savvy Events right now is on hiatus. I'm rebranding her. So I also do my one-on-one podcast every month, once a month. I interview entertainers, people with business, enterprises, and we put that on the YouTube page. And also I do Good Vibes. So that's what I got going on right now.
And Mr. and Mrs. Lee, what you guys, what goes on with you? Where can people reach you? Where can they follow you guys at?
Where can people sign up for your class?
Yeah.
RL said he wanted to go.
We have to definitely put some more dates up. We have been doing a lot of podcasts these days, but I'm pleased to say, and I don't look at your podcast any different, but we'll be on Fox Soul this Friday. So the network Fox Soul, and we'll be, thank you. And we have another podcast tomorrow. So we are definitely, because we were talking about doing a workshop in July, actually, and trying to decide whether we were going to do it in person, both, like have a little bit here and then virtual. But I think because of health reasons and in COVID, we want to be responsible. So it's going to be a virtual event, and that'll be in July. But you can reach me anywhere across social media at Kendellenice, KENDELLENICE, on all platforms, even TikTok. I love TikTok.
Yes, she does.
I love TikTok. I'm over there spreading the message over there with my 27,000 followers. I always say TikTok loves me the most.
Oh man.
And then Daryl's at Daryl the Mentor on Instagram. And then also TikTok. I get you Twitter. So I signed him up for Twitter. He's not on there, but he's on Instagram. And then also our Facebook page, Daryl and Kendall.
Just don't be tweeting like our last president.
Oh no, right. He was like, I have a Twitter. I was like, yeah, I got you a Twitter last year.
Oh Lord.
What's a Twitter?
Like, what's a Twitter?
So he's like, so you should see me trying to teach him Instagram. It's so funny because when he had a big presence before, he was on Facebook. But because he was off social media so long, Instagram came into the room. So now he's like,
oh wow.
So he's on Instagram, definitely.
And you can follow him at Lee with the gold pants.
Right? I should have changed his name.
Dr. G, what you got going on?
Also,
go ahead.
You want to give your website?
My website for anybody looking for jobs, employment, training, workforce development classes, GED, looking for resume writing, CNA, GNA classes. You can follow me. You can go to REIGN, REIGN, Ultimate, ULTIMATE, Solutions with an S, network.com.
And you can always check me out at livingtruelivingyou.com for all of my workshops and classes. They're listed on there, as well as life coaching services. And if you want me as a guest speaker or a panelist, I'm always available for that. So livingtruelivingyou.com.
Yep.
All spelled out.
All right. Now, again, folks, this is just part one. We're going to do a part two. We're going to make this a series. We definitely have to. Dr. G, what you got going on with your situation, your life?
Well, first of all, I have to say, I am just like smitten with these two. They're so stinking cute. And it's like, I can just listen. And it's only when Regan said, oh, we're wrapping. I'm like, wait, we are? Oh, okay. But, and I'm pretty sure that any and everyone that's listening, they feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your message is so powerful, and what you're speaking about and what you're saying are things that needs to be out there. It needs to be heard, and it needs to be said more and more and more. So because somewhere along the way we've lost that with our community, we've just lost that in self. So it's really important. And so having, you know, a union like yours and being able to spread that message and
educate,
and just take it out there is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you.
It is, and I would definitely love to make sure that you guys are like back on, because I want to like I think this is really good.
Yeah.
So
I'm coming with my notebook the next time.
Yep.
Regan and I started some YouTube. First of all, Daryl, I totally get it. I am not on Facebook. I am not on Instagram. I am not on anything. I don't have a Twitter. I don't have a TikTok. I don't have any of that. And I get a lot of heat for it from my family and friends, but whatever, they can get over it. And so now Regan and I have nothing. I have this to show up and, you know, and then I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm very exposed. So it's like, how can I reel it back? But I love to talk. So, and I love conversation. So, you know, this works. But Regan and I, we started something called Trini Spice FM, because he is the creator and owner of an internet Caribbean radio station called Trini Spice FM. And I am a very supportive sister. And but we started something called Trini Spice FM.
Your brother and sister?
Yeah.
We are siblings. That's what our mama and our daddy said. But
because when you said I'm a supportive sister, I didn't know you meant with the R or A.
Right.
Well, you know, good one.
Sister.
Good one. So, but no, I am the sister with the R, not with the A. So, and basically we, you know, we kind of interviewed, it's just a 30-minute little segment where we interview island natives who are performers, artists, you know, anything like that, just for us to be in touch with our roots and where we came from, and just to have that kind of connection, because so easily, like everything else, that could be lost as well.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
That's on every other Saturday, and Regan does all the work. I just show up as always. I'm always malfunctioning with technology. Let me just tell you. Right. So, but other than that, I am a school teacher, which is like a passion of mine. I love doing it. I have my little one, as you guys saw, who was crawling out before. So she is my pride and joy. And that's really it. We are winding down the school year and just getting through it. I'm in Florida. So we officially, our governor announced that we are no longer mask mandated.
Right.
You gotta love Florida.
Yeah.
I would still wear my mask.
Yeah.
Everyone's welcome.
Yeah, we wear them for college. All right, so yeah, as you heard, brother and sister, I'm the brother with the ER. And yeah, I own a radio station called Trini Spice FM. It's an online radio station where we play a lot of Caribbean music, very up-to-date urban type Caribbean music. So it's not your regular little pan music that you little drink Mai Tais to. It's gonna get jumping. Yeah, it's gonna get jumping.
I love Caribbean music.
Yes, we have a lot of Caribbean DJs play on here via the internet. They stream their shows from different parts of the world. I have a DJ in Dubai that actually plays. And he's a Caribbean DJ in Dubai that plays live on the station every now and again. I got a DJ from Barbados. It's a bunch of DJs on there that play. It's great music. Very few commercials. If you ever want to get on there, it's Trini Spice FM. Let me pop up my little card so you can see what it is. Trini Spice FM. It's Trini Spice FM. You can download the app on your Google Play Store for your Apple store. It's free. You can listen to this on your Alexa devices. I gotta say it's off because she'll jump up and yell at me. Alexa.
I have to tell my daughter too. She would love that too.
Right. And pretty much I do the show with Alicia every other Saturday at 10 a.m. in the morning. We do a brunch, island brunch. It's called Trini Spice of M Island Brunch. It's a spinoff of the station. Our accents change because we go into that Trini accent. It's no longer American accents. And that's pretty much my thing. TV. Right. And when I'm not doing all of this stuff, I'm basically working alongside Savvy and my boy RL here, and we work at the #1 hospital in the world.
So he said, "Shh."
Right.
He said, "Shh."
Yeah.
TMI.
Right. So RL, you can shut it down. It's all on you, sir.
Well, I'm a retired porn star. For those who don't know.
Tell them about your new website.
He ain't lying.
He ain't lying.
So, on some realness, real quick. Of course, end of the week is Mother's Day, so I want to send out a happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I'm talking about the real mothers, not the ones that dump their kids at grandma's house and go shaking their ass all week.
Right.
I'm talking about the real mothers, the ones that sacrifice sleep and just do so much for the children. And if not their children, people, their nieces and nephews or whoever. So happy Mother's Day to all of them. I also want to acknowledge it is Teacher Appreciation Week. And
we got a teacher on here.
Yes.
We really need to show our teachers love. This last year has been hell for them.
Yes.
Virtually teaching from home or being forced to go to school and teach. These teachers are heroes that they just don't get the praise that they so well deserve.
So true.
My wife is a teacher. I see it firsthand. I've been seeing it since last year. It's been a year. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'd have said, fuck them kids.
My daughter's about to graduate the 22nd as a teacher. So she's been doing student teaching. So she's about to graduate from college.
Congratulations.
May 22nd. Yep. So proud. Yeah,
I've been teaching for 15 plus years myself.
I've been teaching too,
Exactly.
But I want, if I could just say something quickly, because you talked about Mother's Day. Everyone keep Daryl in his prayers. This will be his first Mother's Day without his mom. His mom passed away last June. So he's having a hard time this month. So if you can just keep him in your prayers.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Because that's what we have to remember, even we were talking about that today when, it's Mother's Day and everyone's like, oh, happy Mother's Day. It kind of, for people who lost their mom, it's kind of difficult.
What happened?
I don't know. I saw some funky stuff. It was some of them. I was like, oh, that's nice.
My head was sitting in a chair. That's all I saw.
I don't know what happened.
I was in a circle like.
You have to excuse our damn tech guy. I don't know what he's doing.
Fire the tech guy. Fire him. No, we can't even get through this if he ain't on the show, because I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to this. So thank you.
You can tell he's handling stuff. Look at him. He got his hair chair. He got the whole look, the whole.
Yeah, he did. He got the tech guy look. Yes.
The office.
Oh, man.
But I want to say something real quick because I forgot, and I would get killed if I did not do this. I have to send a shout out to Lamont Elliott, my actor, my client. Yes, he's right. Like you said, people need to send prayers out for him because he's going through something right now. Oh. So if you're listening, I love you, brother. So and I'm there for you. So
yes. I went to school with his parents. So,
and that's how I met her, through him. So yeah.
Oh damn! How old are you, girl?
I'll be 50 in June.
You'll be 60?
50.
Oh. Are you? Damn!
Lamont's just a baby.
You said you're just a baby.
Lamont's just a baby.
He's a baby.
He's a baby.
He's a baby.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But yeah, definitely keeping him in our prayers. I don't know what's going on, but we don't have to know to pray. But yeah, people are really going through it. You know, people, you never know what people are going through. You just don't. You know, I'm a colon cancer survivor. I just had surgery in March last month. You just never know what people are going through. So you always have to keep people lifted and be kind to people, because you never know what someone is going through. They can look wonderful and beautiful, and you know, they're thriving here, they're whatever. You can't tell what somebody's going through by what they look like.
Yep, that's true.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So that will wrap it up for this week. I want to thank you guys for coming on. Hopefully we'll have you guys back on next week.
Love
the love that you have, especially, I'm gonna tell you, if y'all haven't noticed, that his queen stepped up, even though nobody attacked him, you know, but she stepped to the forefront when she felt like she needed to explain some things, you know, on his behalf without him even having to say anything. And that's a beautiful thing.
I didn't notice.
I didn't notice that anybody else would notice that. I've always noticed that.
I didn't even notice.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
You know how they say, behind every great man, she wasn't even behind.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But, hey, look, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate all the support. See you guys next week. Peace.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Everyone, for watching. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.